the Jacob deGrom MRI results we are all now waiting for. So first off, good afternoon, Evan. How are you today, bud?
How am I? How am I?
Yeah, how you doing today?
So,
beautiful Friday
do you
in New
realize
York.
as the Bucks were erasing that 9-point deficit, I looked down at my phone and saw Jacob deGrom experience soreness? And I'm thinking to myself, no.
Yeah.
No. These two things can't happen at the same time. They did. So, yes, it's been a rough few hours,
Been a
Craig.
tough couple hours for Evan Roberts, and I left you alone last night, too. And I had my phone with me. I said, should I? No. Should I? No. So here are the rules I'd like to impart. Listen, you're 50-50 in this show with me, so I can't make rules without your agreeing to those rules, okay? Unless you want to say that we're 49-49, 1-1, and then those two guys can help break a tie. I'm okay with that, too, if you want, okay?
Let me hear the rules and I'll decide. I'm a fair man.
Yeah, here's what I think the rules should be today. Acknowledging also that today is, it's April Fool's Day. Okay, fine. I think you need to turn off all of your electronics.
So I don't constantly refresh Twitter like I've done for the last 3.5 hours?
I think you have to be off Twitter. I think you have to turn off the iPad, turn off the computer, and allow the day to proceed, trusting that when and if something does happen, myself, Tommy and Big Mac, and the audience will allow you to learn about things as it happens.
Believe it or not, that's good for my health.
Because
the constant refreshing of Twitter that I've done over the last 3.5 hours is not good for me. It's not good for anyone. So I will agree to it, but can we all, as an audience, as a show, as Americans, stop the April Fool's crap?
Well, here's what I'd say. I'm going to count on the audience now to call in throughout the show to give us updates if they hear any updates. So if you are listening right now, Evan is turning off his iPad. He's shutting down the computer. He will have no access to information other than what we give him and what we bring to him. So if you learn about something in regards to Jacob deGrom
or Kevin's ankle
or Kevin Durant's ankle from last night, which, by the way, wasn't touched, by all means, call up and give us the breaking news as you learn about it. And that's how Evan will ultimately learn that, once again, his papier-mâché pitcher is not going to pitch an entire season. And here's the other thing, and this, I think, would frustrate you. It frustrates me, and I'm not rooting for the Mets right now. All last year, my recollection was that every MRI they took, the announcement at least, came back clean.
Or inflammation.
Do you remember that? Like, there's no injury.
Right.
There was no torn this, torn that.
There was inflammation at one point in his elbow, and Sandy Alderson made the claim that there was a tear.
That
Remember
was
that whole
much
thing?
later, though,
that
he made that claim.
Yes.
So my thing is this. Like, no one disputes deGrom's greatness when he's healthy. That's not up for debate, so we're not going to have that conversation. We all recognize how good he is when he's healthy. If the MRI comes back again today, as it did 3, 4, 5 times last year, and I think a little bit the year before that, too.
Yeah, and let me clarify this because I think it's easily forgotten. This has sort of been going on for years. Every single year, Jacob deGrom's had an injury scare. Now, usually it's only one, and usually maybe he has one start pushed back, and that's it, and he's fine. So to act as if this started last year would not be true. You're right. This goes back to 2019 where he missed a few, 2020. 2019 he had a scare. 2018. Even in years in which he's had full seasons, he's had the MRI scare in which we're all freaking out waiting to hear bad news that luckily hadn't come.
So I guess my question is, for guys like you who adore him and are huge Met fans, whether he's pitching for him or not, if the MRI comes back and there's a problem, and you got to deal with that problem. He's going to be sat down for umpteen weeks and just going to have to deal with it. But that's easy. Like, once we get that, that's easy. The other side, though, is if it comes back and we hear again, there's nothing wrong with his shoulder.
Right.
There does come a point where, as a fan, you, I think, have to say, dude, go out there and pitch.
All right, so it's complicated. I remember years ago this was sort of happening with Steven Matz. And eventually the Mets said to Steven Matz, listen, kid, you're going to have to pitch through some discomfort.
Right.
Jacob deGrom is not Steven Matz. Jacob deGrom is 33 years old. Jacob deGrom has pitched full seasons. Jacob deGrom, I think, knows his body. This isn't as simple as, hey, just go out and throw.
Right.
Like, I get it with a young pitcher who maybe doesn't know their body as well as a veteran. So while it's easy to say it, and I understand it, I'm not saying you're crazy for bringing it up. I heard BT bringing it up. I'm sure fans will say that. Just pitch. Just pitch. There's nothing wrong with you. He's a hypochondriac.
Yes.
He's 33. He's pitched full seasons in the majors. He's had major surgeries in the past. I think he knows his body. And if something's wrong, even if MRIs aren't showing you what's wrong, something's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, something's wrong.
But then,
even if an MRI is not telling you specifically what's wrong.
I get that, but the hypochondriac's a good title because ultimately, if you think something's wrong and you go to the doctors who are experts in that field, and the doctors collectively say, we hear you. You're in tune with your body. We don't know what that's like, but all we can tell you is that medically, there's nothing wrong. At that point, as a fan, I think you get frustrated.
I am frustrated, but
like,
I
go out
also
there and play. Let's find out
Craig,
what it is.
Craig, I am frustrated. I'll make that clear.
Yeah.
I am, of course. I want to see my favorite player and the best pitcher in baseball pitch as often as possible. But I also can't just irrationally say, shut up and pitch when we're talking about a guy who's pitched full seasons, a guy who's in his 30s, and a guy who, unlike some rookie who's saying, I don't know, something's wrong. I think this guy understands his body. And look, I've been bringing this up for years. I hate to bring it up again, but it's a concern. Maybe him throwing 99 and 100 as routinely as he does, as great as it is, maybe that's not healthy for him.
I don't know. I know this. It's getting old. If the MRI comes back, and I assume we'll get results while we're on the air today, which will be really exciting for us because you won't have access to the information, and you're going to have to trust and rely on me, the audience, Big Mac, and Tommy to bring you the information.
So exciting.
And bring it to you correctly.
So exciting.
I think that's very exciting for all of us.
Oh, yes.
Yes, don't you think?
After a rough night like last night, nothing more do I want than that today on a Friday.
Listen,
Yes.
it's not my fault you blew a 9-point lead in a couple minutes.
No, but I'll tell you who's his fault it is.
It happens.
How about someone box out Wes Matthews when Giannis misses 2 free throws down 9 with 2.5 minutes to go? How about that?
Yeah.
How about that crazy idea?
Shocking. Yeah.
It's not shocking.
Maybe,
it wasn't shocking to me.
No. You didn't box out in a free throw, 4-point play, missing best player in the team, missing 2 clutch shots to win it. I mean, listen, this does happen, but that's not the focus of today, is it, Evan? The focus of today is that your best player, once again, may not be on the field as often as you want him to be on the field. And like you've said before, every time he pitches now, every time Durant, when he first came back from the injury, you were like, oh, did he take a bad step? Was 102 too fast?
You can't, and I don't think...
and here's my point of that. You really don't get the full joy
100%
out of watching your 2 best players play
100%
in their respective sports.
You can't.
Because every time they do something, in the back of your head, you're going, uh-oh.
Yeah. No, and in DeGrom's case, I'll leave KD out of this for a second. In DeGrom's case, even when he dominates or pitches well, which, by the way, hasn't happened in a while. He hasn't started since July 6th. There's always that worry, and you've even joked about it. I've even joked about it. Hey, when's DeGrom going to report his first piece of soreness? So, yeah, it's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
And the other thing you got to worry about is 2020 is not his fault because obviously it was an abbreviated season. But between only making 12 starts in 2020 and the limited season from last year, Jacob deGrom in the last 2.5 years on the calendar has barely pitched.
Yeah.
He's thrown 170 innings, I think it is, in 2.5 years.
And has made about $60 million to do it.
Boomer, I don't care about this money breakdown. I'm not obsessed with that. I know what Esiason is. If you want to join him in that, that's fine.
I didn't hear that
That's
today.
not my worry. No, that's always been his worry with Durant and everything. Whatever. I don't care about that. And it's fine that he cares about it. It's fine that you care about it. I don't care about how much Kevin Durant or Jacob deGrom is making. What I care about is them being out there and them performing. And you hit on something, Craig. We're going to all wait as Met fans and as baseball fans, bated breath, to find out the news on Jake. It really is a lose-lose situation. Because if there's damage, well, then he's hurt. That's a lose. Right. That's a loss. If there's no damage, it does create the whole mystery of, Okay, then what the hell now?
Yeah. And there will come a point when you guys turn on him. That will happen because, as we've said before, you don't he's not a quitter. That's not the right word for it. But you want guys who are gamers. You want guys to show up and play. That's why we get the great joy out of watching
Craig,
them.
I know I may be in the minority on this, and I'll take a beating. I think it is very easy to just say, shut up and pitch.
Yeah?
Okay? I'm not a Major League Baseball player, nor are you, nor is most people
Well, I was
listening.
a backup.
Sure you were.
And maybe that doesn't count for you, but I did get there at least.
Jacob deGrom is a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. Jacob deGrom has shown us in the past he's a gamer. I'm trusting that Jacob deGrom wants to pitch in what is essentially a contract year.
Yes.
This is not Muhammad Wilkerson saying, I'm getting paid. I don't care. So I can't go with that easy narrative of, he doesn't want to pitch. He's not a competitor. He's reporting that he feels soreness. That's concerning.
And if they come back and say there's nothing wrong with you, then maybe he's just a head case. Maybe not being a gamer is not the right way. Maybe he's crazy.
Then how do you explain the early part of his career?
In what regards?
The fact that he went out and pitched.
Well, he did pitch and he did get hurt.
He has a resume of pitching. This is
a resume of getting hurt, too.
No, the last couple of years, absolutely. But this isn't a guy who just came up from the minor leagues and is saying, I feel sore. I don't know. This is a guy with a resume.
So what's your prediction when the MRI comes out today and we eventually give you the real news on it? Because I'm sure we're going to have some fun here today because it's what we do. Even if it wasn't April 1st, we're going to have fun with Evan today.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. Is your gut telling you significant injury or is your gut telling you the same as we heard a lot of last year?
I think it's going to be an injury.
Injury.
And the reason I think it's going to be an injury.
Out for the year?
I'm not detailing that. I don't know.
Let's take a guess.
Why are you making me do that?
Let's just take a guess.
Why are you making me do that?
You go last. Big Mac, how many months, or you could say the whole year, you could say a week, a start, a month, 2 months. How long is DeGrom out?
May 15th.
I got a pen right here. Okay. May 15th. Tommy, how long is DeGrom out?
As much as I want to mess with Evan, I'm a huge Met fan. I can't answer that. He'll be ready for opening day.
You know full well he's not pitching
ready for opening day.
Opening day.
Power of positivity, Ev.
All right, Evan, it's on you now.
What about you?
Well, you don't know. You don't want to know what I think.
No, he's never going to pitch ever again. I know what you think. You don't even have to make me guess.
Here's the best thing for him, though. He's got a player option for next year, so he's getting 30 and 30 ballpark.
Old
right?
takes exposed when Jacob deGrom said, "I'm opting out." Sure, you are. I think it's going to be. I think there's going to be some kind of injury,
okay.
And I think he's probably going to miss a month or two.
So, does he pitch in the month of April?
No.
Does he pitch in the month of May?
Yeah, I'll go with May. I'll have some positivity. But the longer this goes on, because again, the MRI was at 9:30 a.m. It has now been 4 hours and 45 minutes, if my math is correct. The longer we don't get an update, I think the worse it is.
Well, let me walk you through that. Assuming he had the MRI down in Port St. Lucie or somewhere near there, there's a medical center there. I don't know if they have an MRI machine in the facility. They most likely don't at a minor league facility. They do the MRI, scheduled for 9:30. He may not even get into the tube till 10. That's a solid 45 minutes in that tube, as you've experienced before. So let's say the results are ready. 11:15, 11:30, results are ready. The doctor down there reviews them. They share them with Jake, his agent, the Mets, all that stuff. Then they send the film to the New York doctors, hospital for special surgery most likely. Those guys review it. Then those doctors talk to those doctors, and they come up with a consensus. Here's what we all agree. This is the injury, or we don't see anything. Well, it's one or the other, right?
Right.
Then they go to Jake, and obviously you've got a game right now that they're playing, and you go to Epler and you go to Steve Cohen and say, all right, and Sandy Alderson, here's the results. Here's what we recommend you do. So it's all major conversations taking place. We will know by 4 o'clock.
Oh, will we?
Yeah. We will know by 4 o'clock. You may even get updates from our listeners who are trying to do you a solid today to bring you alleged breaking news.
And I'm sure our listeners will be gentle and accurate with all of their information.
Now, here's the good news.
What?
When you hear our listeners make these stories up to tell you what's going on, you'll probably be able to read about it in a Mark Berman column in the Post when about an hour later. So be prepared for the New York Post to reiterate what they hear here, albeit an hour or two later, okay? You got it?
Yeah.
And they've so many stories out there now that came directly from our show. It's fascinating to me. It really is. Even stuff that not breaking news.
Right.
Like we see it somewhere, we talk about it, and a half hour later, they're writing about it. like the track star that got punched in the face.
Yes.
From the other kid on the track. That wasn't our story. We saw it online. We told it to you. A half hour later, the Post is reporting
We bring it to the mainstream.
It's almost like we're on their payroll.
Well, can we
It's
start getting
fascinating.
checks from them? That'd be
We
nice.
are never going to get checks from that.
No.
Yes, even though I think it's a Murdoch company, they only have 100,000 people buy the paper. It's not good. It's not. Even though they raised the price of it to like $1, no one's buying it. Anyway, we'll get all your calls. We'll also go through some of the lame April Fool's jokes that have been attempted online today. The last one I saw was Ben Simmons is playing against the Cavs in a week.
Oh, give me a break.
I saw LeBron James announce that he was done for the season. And actually, Woj had to come out and say, it's April 1st, everybody. Just relax.
Well, are we buying that Yoenis Cespedes being at Mets Old Timers Day is an April Fool's joke?
With Bartolo Colon.
Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
an April Fool's joke or is that real?
You know what's weird about that one? That could go either way.
It's 50-50.
That could go either way.
I mean, Yoenis Cespedes hasn't retired yet. Can he really go to Old Timers Day?
That one could go. That could go either way, actually. But I did see
I saw
as
that
well.
story, and I'm still thinking that's an April Fool's joke.
Yeah, well, listen, we'll get all your calls. It's a Friday. We're looking to have some fun. It's Prince Street Pizza Friday, so that's exciting for us, and we recommend you guys check them out as well.